Hey, this is Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by uppercutchops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA prime Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course the king of all those gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best I've ever had. Probably be the best you ever have as well. Check them out at uppercutchops.com. That's uppercutchops.com. Or give them a call. Find out what's for dinner. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100 for uppercutchops.com. Yes! Yes! Boy, those are good. Hey, you're missing out, folks. Get one of those in front of you immediately. All right, a big welcome to everybody listening in on all of our radio and television affiliates, watching on TV, everybody streaming on Pick Your Favorite platform, as well as in hotel television, plus everybody watching and listening in on Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Thanks for joining us over there. Folks, make sure you check that out. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. It's a fun and free group to participate in for all your favorite foods, your favorite recipes, favorite restaurants, and so forth. Check them out, Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. All right. Speaking of a little bit of knockdown, drag out, you know, the food business is a little bit knockdown, drag out. Sometimes people watch all those cooking channels and whatnot. It gets a little bit feisty. And honestly, I would like to see the uncut version of one of those, right? Maybe see some fisticuffs or something. Let's see one of the chefs square off with another chef or something like that. Or maybe one of the chefs didn't like being cut out of their show or whatnot. I would love to see the uncut version of that where no holds barred. Let's go ahead and get in there and a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. I would like to see some of that. But then again, we don't really need to see that now, do we? Because what do we have? The National Hockey League. And here we go. In Team USA versus Team Canada, 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of the Four Nations face-off. Listen, folks, this is exciting. This is hockey, and this is what we do. This is exactly why hockey is arguably more popular than the National Basketball Association. Check this out, folks.
And the gloves are off. Matthew Tkachuk and Brandon Hagel.
Look at him go. Hagel and Tkachuk. A left, a right, a right. And Tkachuk's got a hold of him. A right, a left, a right, a right,
Hagel
a right.
Tampa Bay.
And Hagel's going down. And there it is. He's down for the count. This is exactly why the National Hockey League is so much more exciting than basketball. Basketball is just...
This was set. Here they come right here, right.
That'd be pro basketball. And now here we go, just moments later. Here they go again into the
right before the first Tkachuk fight, this was set up. Here you go.
This time it's Sam Bennett and Tkachuk. Trading big haymakers. A left, a right,
Bennett in the lineup for the first time.
And down he goes. Bennett is down. Team USA 2 fights, Canada 0. But wait, there's more.
It helps set the tone. Charlie
Here they go.
Boy put one on net. Now we're 9 seconds in. We had a fight 2 seconds in, another one 1 second later. Now in the center of the action, it's Colton Parayko and JT Miller.
Colton Parayko for Canada is a monster, but here's JT Miller.
Parayko's
swinging
got a big
and swinging and
size
swinging.
advantage. Miller's a tough
really
dude.
holding his own, and this guy is giving up almost a foot to Colton Parayko, and guess what?
This
one
like
ends. We're going to give the advantage to
when
Colton
this
Parayko
building
in this
opened
one.
up with the World
Team
Cup.
USA wins the fight category. 2 fights to 1. How exciting is that? That is exciting, folks. Of course, that deserves an astounding round of applause. That's the best part about hockey. And by the way, the old Four Nations face-off, starting in Montreal, of course, that's where this game was played. And this particular game between Team USA and Team Canada started with 3 fights in the first 9 seconds, as we just played, and ending with a celebration and a spot in the Four Nations face-off final. The United States delivered exactly what Matthew Tkachuk hoped for by beating Canada in their game. How do you like that? And he even said, quote, "We needed to send a message. The message we wanted to send is it's our time." Close quotes. All right, great stuff. Of course, Tkachuk fought Brandon Hagel off the opening faceoff. Brother Brady Tkachuk tussled with Sam Bennett. And the next fight, of course, had JT Miller and Colton Parayko. And Parayko will give him that one. But at the end of this whole thing, it was Team USA 2-1 in fights and 3-1 in the final score. As a matter of fact, Dylan Larkin had said of the game, quote, "That was the best experiences of my life. Just an unbelievable hockey game." The Tkachuk brothers and Millsy, what a start. And credit to those guys for answering the bell. And the crowd, just a great night for our sport and a great night for this rivalry. Close quote. Now, by the way, folks, this particular game was played in Montreal. And of course, we're going to give them a round of boos. And why? Because when the American national anthem, Star Spangled Banner, starts playing, it was the Canadian fans booing the United States of America. That's ridiculous! I mean, let's face it, folks. Without the United States, Canada would be arguably at the mercy of the other powers around the world. Oh, yeah, they don't like us being Americans. They don't like us because, we're doing this and we're doing that and we're renaming the Gulf. Hey, we're not renaming anything. The Gulf of America is exactly what it ought to be in the first place. Think about this. Mexico is part of that Gulf, but more of that Gulf has United States territory on it, so get over it. But the reality is, without the United States, Canada would have to fight their own battles. And guess what, folks? As I see it, they don't have the firepower to do it. So they don't like us, like a lot of Americans over in Europe. You know, the Europeans don't like the Americans, generally speaking. Yeah, but you know what they do like? They like Americans' money, and they like the Americans' protection. But otherwise, they put Americans down, left, right, and center. And it's an abomination. And Americans should boycott going over to all countries that boo them, that don't like them. Because, hey, frankly, America has what? These United States has the tropics. It has great skiing. It has some of the best beaches in the world. And guess what? Americans have the natural resources that we need right here in this country. We don't need the Canadians, and we certainly don't need to be pushed around by them and their hockey teams. So Team USA went out and put a good old-fashioned ass whooping on Team Canada. Gotta like that, folks. And yes, they did play at a blistering pace with physicality throughout the most anticipated game of the Four Nations round-robin play. And it did not disappoint. From the fisticuffs off the opening faceoff to the big hits from Charlie McAvoy on Canadian stars Sid Crosby and Connor McDavid, and more than a few vital saves by Connor Hellebuck among his 24. And the U.S. showed it could keep up with Canada's speed, skill, and talent in the first international tournament with the NHL's best players in nearly a decade. As a matter of fact, U.S. coach Mike Sullivan said, quote, "What an incredible hockey game," close quote. Well, no kidding. And you know what? We're going to give him an applause for that, just because we could. But it all unfolded against the backdrop of an uneasy tension, as I mentioned, between North American neighbors and longtime allies, with many fans in the sellout crowd of 21,105 at the Bell Center loudly booing throughout the pregame rendition of the U.S. national anthem. And that spilled onto the ice as soon as the puck was dropped, with Matthew Tkachuk asking Brandon Hagel to drop the gloves, and the fourth-line Canada winger engaged in the fight in 2 seconds. Yes, just 2 seconds, and then it was brother Brady Tkachuk. Did the same with Sam Bennett. The moments went The puck was dropped on the ensuing faceoff. 3 seconds in, Miller cross-checked Parayko, and the two went at it to make it a trio of bouts. This is great. This is what's the great thing about hockey. So you go fight, you get 5 minutes for fighting, whatever, and you come back and do it again. Anyway, the idea came from a group chat involving the Tkachuk brothers and Miller. Canada coach John Cooper called the first minute purely mayhem. And of course, he had said, quote, "It was, I guess, 10 years of no international hockey exhaled in a minute and a half," close quote. So the old school hockey mayhem that we saw did not go great early, though, for the United States, with the Tkachuks in the penalty box for the first 5 minutes. Connor McDavid accelerated around the top defensive pair of Charlie McAvoy and Zach Werenski and roofed a backhand shot. It was a beauty, too, I got to tell you, folks. Over Hellebuck. Didn't matter if they had 3 goalies in that. They wouldn't have stopped that one. There's no way. And that, of course, even if you put the 3 best goaltenders in the world in the net, somehow that puck would have made it past all of those guys and found the back of the net. But Canada's questions in net continued when Jake Guentzel beat Jordan Binnington 5-hole right between the legs midway through the first period to tie it. And the perpetually reliable captain made a move and a rare mistake to turn over. And guess what? Dylan Larkin was right there to score a 2-on-1 past, again, Binnington. Tell you what, folks, we're going to pick up with this when we come back from the break. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on the Sports Circus. Right back in a few.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at
714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100.
Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Could you use a little extra money right now? If you'd like to borrow up to $100,000 and get pre-approved in minutes, call the number we'll give you at the end of this commercial. Our lending partners have already loaned millions of dollars to individuals just like you, and we're ready to lend you up to $100,000 if you qualify. Even if your credit is not perfect, you could use the money to pay off high-interest credit cards, for home renovations, or consolidate existing debt. You can get flexible, easy-to-pay terms. The consultation to find out if you qualify is free. To find out if you qualify for our special financing program, call this toll-free number 24 hours a day. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. That's 800-335-1376. Important terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Loan amount, annual percentage rate, and term will vary depending on creditworthiness. Applying does not guarantee approval. Account approval is subject to verification and confirmation of your credit history and acceptance by a lender. If you choose to apply for a loan through us, a consumer report will be obtained to evaluate your creditworthiness in connection with your application for credit.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UppercutChops.com or call
714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100.
or make your selection directly at UppercutChops.com.
I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus. Join me and Hall of Fame world champion and all-star celebrity guest for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms. Also, thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Thank you, Roy, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by your friends at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's csncoyotes.com for the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. And welcome in, everybody. Listening in on all of our affiliates from coast to coast, from Honolulu all the way across the West Coast, over through the Heartland, all the way down to our friends in Auburn, Alabama, WAUD, home of the Atlanta Braves. Big welcome into our friends also on WDJY 99.1 FM over in Atlanta, plus everybody else up and down the East Coast, and on all of our other commercial and non-commercial affiliates, plus everybody watching in on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, and Wow Cable Television affiliates. Thanks for joining us. And also on Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Thanks for joining us over there. Make sure you check that out, folks. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. All right. First segment, it was Rock'em Sock'em Robots with the National Hockey League players, of course, playing in that four nations face-off, being the United States, Canada, Sweden, and Finland. Pretty good quartet of talent, I guess, quartet of teams with very talented players from the National Hockey League. And it was Team USA getting one over on Team Canada in a good old-fashioned fisticuffs battle. And it was Team USA just giving Canada the business in their own house. Gotta like that. That's always a big win. And it was basically Team Canada, just their goaltending just wasn't there. And Team Canada's defense was just above mediocre. Just above. But then again, Jordan Binnington, the goalie, of course, around the net, he made some timely stops in Canada without their top defenseman, Cale Makar, because he was a little bit sick. Cale Makar is one of the better defensemen, if you don't know, for the Colorado Avalanche, one of the best defensemen in the National Hockey League. This guy's good. He's quick hands. The guy skates like, if you know anything about old hockey, skates like a guy by the name of Paul Coffey. Paul seemingly would take 2 or 3 strides, and he was all the way from one end of the rink to the other. But anyway, look, Team Canada had plenty of chances to tie the game, but could not get the puck past Connor Hellebuck. And Jake Gunsel scored into an empty net with 1 minute, 19 seconds left to seal it. And, of course, the rest and the results puts an all-world roster led by Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, and Nate McKinnon in a must-win situation against Finland. And McDavid had said, quote, "It's kind of like a Game 7. A lot of guys in the room have been in this situation before. Got to get a win," close quote. Well, you think? Anyway, the U.S. has nothing to play for against Sweden. And, of course, but there is concern about Matthew Tkachuk after he did not finish the game because of what Sullivan called a lower body injury. In fact, Tkachuk said, brushing off the injury, quote, "I feel good. Definitely way better after a win. Should be all good," close quote. Now, up next, of course, tournament shifts to TD Gardens in Boston for the games, with Canada finishing a round-robin play against Finland and Team USA against Sweden. That's really good stuff, folks. And I have to tell you, if you don't know anything about hockey, you better ask somebody. You better watch it, because hockey is a really fun game, especially. It's great to go see, but if you're up close, you don't realize the speed of the game, the physicality of the game. I mean, boy, if you've never been to a hockey game, go spend a little bit of money, go get yourself some glass seats right next to the glass, and I'll tell you, you'll have an entirely new appreciation for this game. The speed is unbelievable. The skill is off the charts. It's just lunacy. And hockey is arguably the toughest sport to play. A lot of pro football players have said that. And honestly, there was a survey out, I forget who it was, but it was from a scholarly journal that had hockey as the toughest sport to play over football. Speaking of which, one of the most popular sports in America. And you think, of course, football is dominating at 35%. Major League Baseball comes in at 14% behind it. And how about this one? You know, everyone says, oh, basketball. Basketball, my ass. Listen, NCAA college football comes in at 11%. Auto racing is even ahead of the NBA. That's right. And the NHL is just literally a fraction of percentage points behind it, along with college basketball. Yes, auto racing is more popular than basketball. That tells you how far basketball has fallen in the eyes of the American public. People, they look at basketball and say, you know what? It just doesn't have the allure. And see, think about this, folks. Everyone says, well, you know, the era of Magic and Michael and Larry and whatnot, and Barkley and whatnot. Okay, why was it? I'll tell you why, in a nutshell. It's not because, oh, they're more popular players, they're retired, they're all Hall of Famers. It has nothing to do with that. Those guys back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever, when the kids came out from high school, they went where? They went to college. Most of them graduated from college. They had the time in high school to do what, or in college to do what? To mature, to increase their basketball IQ, to increase their size and their physicality. They came into the NBA as smarter players, more physically tough players, physically challenged players, and guys that they have faced the challenges of what I'm saying. And they've gotten some bumps and bruises, and they know what it's like to play this game, and they've played it for years, what'd you say now, beyond high school. Because in today's time, what do we have? Well, we've got basically high school kids going in to play one semester, or they're going to take one semester of college classes, which basket weaving 101 kind of things. I mean, they're not really taking anything of value. And then they're making the jump right to the NBA. So you got a bunch of 18, 19-year-old kids in the NBA, whereas back in the day, you got a bunch of 22, 23-year-old kids, 21, 22, 23-year-old kids. The basketball IQ is significantly higher. The life experience is greater. The on-the-court play experience is greater. And let's face it, the games are more developed. The players are far more developed. This is the difference between, we'll just say, the 80s and right now. And so you wonder why basketball is not very popular. Well, folks, that is a really big reason. I'm not going to say it's the reason, but I'll tell you what, it is a very big reason. The skill level and the basketball IQ is so different, in my opinion, that the players today, sure, they're good players. We're not going to take anything away from them. But the game lacks excitement. It lacks, I don't know, think about the All-Star game. So what the NHL did in their All-Star game, instead of playing an All-Star game this year, they said, no, we're going to play the Four Nations face-off. And you're going to take some of the best players in the world, basically the All-Stars, if you will. They're going to play for their own countries in a real hockey tournament. Not this BS basketball tournament, this in-season crap they play in the NBA, or their nonsensical all-star game where, oh, it's team with this person and team that person playing, and all they do is shoot either three-pointers or slam dunks. It's garbage, in my opinion. It's complete garbage. Adam Silver, I don't care if you're a Duke guy like me. You should be canned. You should be fired. I don't believe that you have advanced the game right here in the United States of America. Maybe you've done it overseas, but who gives a damn? What are we doing right here on our own turf? That's right. That's really what we're after. Basketball, in my opinion, has fallen backwards under Adam Silver than it has with its prior leadership. I don't believe basketball is doing well. I think Adam Silver is mismanaging it. Again, I don't care if you're a Duke guy just like me. It doesn't matter. I don't believe what you're doing is advancing the game whatsoever. And really, maybe it's time to retire, Adam, and do something else. Go play golf or whatever it is that you do. I don't know. But ultimately, basketball should be a hell of a lot better. And let's face it, there's the big four of sports, right? And you would think the big four would be football, baseball, basketball, hockey. Well, guess what? It's football, baseball, college football, and auto racing. That's right. Basketball's not even in there. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Take a nice hard look at that one, folks. And if you don't believe me, that one is brought to you by USA Today. That's not my opinion. That's USA Today, in case you're keeping score. Speaking of which, how about some college hoops? This is ridiculous. So, geez, I almost want to wait for the next segment for this one, but check this one out. So, Terrence Shannon Jr. had his jersey retired by the Illinois men's basketball program this past weekend. But what was already going to be a memorable moment turned into what? Oh yeah, you guessed it. An interesting, disastrous gaffe. You're like, what in the world? Well, guess what, folks? The unthinkable seemed to happen. At halftime of the Illinois and Michigan State game, Shannon's jersey was raised to the rafters in an on-court ceremony. Hey, that's pretty exciting stuff, right? On-court ceremony, we're going to have this great thing, and so forth. Well, what could possibly go wrong? That's what you ask. What in the world could go wrong in something as glorious as this? We think of, geez, guys want to celebrate, and the university wants to celebrate them and so forth. Well, guess what? Much to the surprise of everyone in Champaign's State Farm Center, the banner was unfurled to reveal that Shannon's number 0 was what? Hung upside down. That's ridiculous. A round of applause for them. And of course, the groans from the Illinois fans punctuated what was already a very awkward moment for the program, and especially for Shannon, who still received a notable honor, but under unfortunately indelible circumstances. Sit and think about that one for a minute. Here you're being honored, but now your banner's upside down. We're going to continue on that when we come back here to the Sports Circus in just a few moments. I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime, nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Hello Americans, it's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. For the last time. That's 800-950-2049.
Do a search on how to get out of credit card debt, and you'll find everything from crazy promises to ways you can try to do it yourself. Many of those ideas just don't work, and they leave you broker than you were. Here's some advice. Call our debt helpline. In a quick and free 5-minute conversation, our experts will listen to you and learn about how much credit card debt you have, what your goals are, and then show you the right solution to help you get out of credit card debt with one new simple, affordable payment. The credit card companies make available special programs to help if you're struggling. All it takes for you to finally get out of credit card debt is one quick, free phone call. So please call right now.
800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. That's 800-948-6817. Paid for by the Debt Helpline.
That's ridiculous.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP television. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, our recorded shows, which can be found on Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Stitcher, Deezer, everywhere, folks. Can't get away from us. Also, check out the partners page on thesportscircus.com. Lots of great partners over there. One of those is Al's Number One Italian Beef at 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. Al's Number One Italian Beef, 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. If you can't get over there for some great food, check them out at alsbeef.com. That's alsbeef.com, and pick up yours today. You won't be sorry. Welcome back to everybody at TV and radio. You know who you are. Streaming, Chicago food favorites. Speaking of sticking with the whole Illinois, Chicago thing right now, after mentioning in the last segment about Terrence Shannon Jr.'s retired jersey was raised to the rafters in an encore ceremony. Of course, it was raised upside down. That's right. Luckily, it was the number 0. Right? So it's not like the number was upside down, but the name of the jersey was upside down. Of course, the Illinois fans didn't really like what was going on. And then, of course, the athletic director had to step in because, let's face it, everything that goes on over there is what? It seems to be, the athletic director's responsibility. And courtesy of WCIA, CBS News, we have this handy-dandy little clip here.
Well, before we get into the substance of the game tonight, obviously we had a regrettable situation at halftime with the jersey around Terrence's celebration. I just wanted to address that briefly before Brad came up and talked about the game. Obviously, really regrettable moment. It's a shame that it happened that way. Of course, I didn't hang the jersey, but I'm ultimately responsible for everything that happens in this building. And ultimately, that means that was on me tonight. We need to make sure that we understand that in life, mistakes happen, but there are also certain moments where mistakes can't happen. And tonight, we stole that moment from Terrence, and that's on us, and something that we have apologized to him for, apologized to his mom. I want to make sure that we apologize to our fans and everybody who was excited to be a part of this experience tonight. Tonight was months in the planning, and there was an incredible amount of great work done by our staff, by people in Terrence's camp. Think about from the T-shirts to the bobbleheads to the appearance to the video work that was done in preparation for this evening. The energy in the building was incredible, all crescendoing towards that one moment, and for that to happen in that instance was just unexcusable. And so on behalf of the athletic program, again, before we turn our attention to the substance of the game, just want to make sure I had a chance to come up and apologize to our fans. We did get the jersey right-sided and had the chance to get Terrence with Coach on the court and take some pictures after the game was over. But nothing we can do to recreate that moment. We recognize that, we own it. Just certain mistakes can't happen, and we'll be sure and had some spirited conversations during the second half to make sure that the right people knew the level of disappointment and frustration that we felt in that moment. So again,
that was the athletic director. Again, that was courtesy of the local CBS affiliate there. I have a hard time understanding. He played a couple of seasons at Illinois. And this goes right back to last segment when I talked about players 18, 19 years old, whatever, playing a season or two at a particular institution or whatever, then going into the NBA, maybe 18, 19-year-old kids or whatnot. So the guy played a couple of seasons at Illinois. Right? And you say, well, hey, that's really good stuff. And, he must have been one hell of a guy. He must have been incredible in the grand scheme of things. To have your number raised to the rafters after 2 seasons. 2 seasons. Yeah, he's a local guy from Lincoln Park High School in Chicagoland, blah, blah, blah. All right, we got all that. But the part that really baffles me is that when you think of the great Illinois basketball players, you say, well, all right, well, this guy, he played at Texas Tech for 3 years, in fact, in this way. He played at Illinois for a couple seasons. But my question is, after 2 seasons in a Big Ten school that has a lot of Big Ten superstars that have gone on, of course, to play in the NBA and all this other stuff. Look, in his senior year and 5th year, this guy actually ended up playing 5 years in this case. He wasn't one of those 18, 19-year-old kids. But he played 2 seasons at Illinois. Did he really play that well? And you say, well, apparently he did. Well, how good did he really play? In the Big Ten Conference, I guess he did have some kind of success here. Single season record for most points scored, okay, fine. Single season record for most free throws made, fine. Single season record for most free throw attempts. Is that worthy of having your jersey raised at the University of Illinois? I guess this is the part that I have a problem with. And I just scratch my head and say, well, is Illinois really that desperate to do something with the audience to make somebody a hero where they're going to raise the kid's jersey to the rafters? Hey, take nothing away from him. I got to take a damn thing away from him. But the guy's a great player. We'll give him that. So Terrence Shannon Jr., who now plays with Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Good for him. But, that's right. Maybe he did, maybe didn't. Played a little bit with the Iowa Wolves too. But no, he's back up with the big club, from the G League to the big club. But my question is, was he really that good? That's what you got to ask. Oh, that's right. Well, he's a product of where? So he grew up in Chicagoland, and he went to IMG Academy down in Florida, which is a mill for putting players in the National Basketball Association. Everybody knows that. Now, in case you don't know about IMG Academy, it's one of those college prep boarding schools and sports training destinations down in Bradenton, Florida. So it's over there just south of Tampa. It's it's not a regular high school. This is the organization set across 600 acres. That's right. And features programs consistent of sports camps for young athletes, adult camps, boarding school, including a postgraduate gap year program. I mean, look, they do everything they can to make sure that their players get everything they need. In fact, one of those big sports agencies announced the sale of that IMG Academy to another organization, yes, for $1.26 billion. So is this more of an IMG Academy celebration over a University of Illinois celebration? Is this maybe to create a bigger path for IMG Academy, I'll say graduates loosely, if you know what I mean? Is this more of a path for them to the University of Illinois? The University of Illinois is a very good university, but once they start dabbling into certain areas that I see become questionable, it questions the university academically. And we've seen other alleged great universities go down to just being good. And then we've seen some good ones go down to being average, and some average ones, you know who you are, going down even lower than average. Why? Because of money. It's all about, show me the money! And I'll show you a college that will pay you just so you can go in and make the next level of ball. Whether it's G League or not, I'm sorry. I don't understand Terrence Shannon Jr.'s raising of the jersey to the rafters. And I think it was just comic relief that it was raised upside down in the first place, or it was set up upside down, and they did actually raise it a little bit. but I like the fact that something like this only puts an exclamation point on maybe something, in my opinion, that should not have happened. Think of all those great players at Illinois did not get their banner or their jerseys raised up into the rafters. And this guy, after playing a couple of seasons there, setting a couple of single-season records just for points and shot attempts and stuff like that, so what? Is that worthy? There are better guys, in my opinion, that should have had their jerseys raised to the rafters than Terrence Shannon Jr.'s. How do you like that? All right, we're going to be back here with pro basketball in the next segment right here on the Sports Circus. Lots more to come, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
If you served in the Marine Corps, by now you know about the contaminated water problem at Camp Lejeune. If you were stationed or worked at Camp Lejeune from 1953 to 1987, you probably have a lot of questions. We have some answers. You could be entitled to compensation. Billions of dollars are being allocated to pay for damages to anyone stationed at Camp Lejeune during that time. Unfortunately, it appears that officials may have known the contaminated water problem existed and did little to protect their men. The Semper Fi code was not honored. If you or someone in your family has developed a serious illness, including various forms of cancer, call this Camp Lejeune legal support line right now. You can't turn back the clock and change what happened, but you can certainly call right now and learn your rights as a Marine. Here's the number.
Call 800-335-7196. 800-3335-7196. That's 800-335-7196.
Do a search on how to get out of credit card debt, and you'll find everything from crazy promises to ways you can try to do it yourself. Many of those ideas just don't work, and they leave you broker than you were. Here's some advice. Call our debt helpline. In a quick and free 5-minute conversation, our experts will listen to you and learn about how much credit card debt you have, what your goals are, and then show you the right solution to help you get out of credit card debt with one new simple, affordable payment. The credit card companies make available special programs to help if you're struggling. All it takes for you to finally get out of credit card debt is one quick, free phone call. So please call right now.
800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. That's 800-948-6817. Paid for by the Debt Helpline.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Thanks for everybody joining us again here on radio, television, streaming, and of course, all those streamers include Apple, Amazon, Audible, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and Deezer. Sometimes I get those confused, and many, many, many others. YouTube as well. And also, thanks for everybody watching and listening in on Chicago Food Favorites. That is a fun food page on Facebook. Check that out, folks. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Have some fun with it. Put your favorite restaurants up there, your favorite recipes, your favorite foods, whatever it is. Have a lot of fun with it. And remember, I am your administrator. All right. Now, the last segment talking about Terrence Shannon Jr.'s number being retired, raised to the rafters, upside down. That's right, in Champaign-Urbana on campus. And, you know, the guy played a couple of seasons, and here's what I don't understand. You take a look at the guys that didn't get in there, right? You get guys like Johnny Red Kerr. Now, if you don't know anything about him, probably because you may not have been old enough to really see back in 1952 through 1954. Most people really don't remember him as a player, but they do remember him as the television analyst on WGN for Chicago Bulls games during Michael Jordan's era, the 80s and 90s. And Johnny Red Kerr was one impressive player, not only in the NBA, but with Illinois as well. In fact, he was the Big Ten's most valuable player selection in 1954. Was named to the 1952 Final Four All-Star Tournament team, 18.3 points per game as an Illinois basketball player, and still is the school's 23rd leading scorer. How about Eddie Johnson, the great Eddie Johnson? Boy, he was a good one. People forget that this guy was an impressive Illini before he went on to score 19,202 points in the NBA. And what folks also often forget about Eddie Johnson is his impact at Illinois. Was the graduate of Westinghouse High School back in Chicagoland and made it cool again for Chicago recruits to come to Champaign to play basketball. Eddie Johnson's era was known for bringing Illinois basketball back from irrelevance, similarly how Don Samu is described today, and scored 1,692 points in his 4-year career. He might be known for hitting the game-winning shot in then Assembly Hall, back what they used to call where basketball was played at Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, back on 1979, January 11th, to defeat number 1 Michigan State, led by Irvin Magic Johnson. How about Kendall Gill? Kendall Gill is a very good player at Illinois from 1987 through 1990. Kendall's career goes overlooked by some because that 1989 Illini team that made it to the Final Four was so balanced and talented. However, listen, this guy remains the school's 19th all-time scorer. And yes, with 1,409 points, but one of the few players in Illinois history to be the Big Ten single-season scoring champ back in 1990 and a first-team All-America selection in the same year. Gill's Illini team ended their seasons in the NCAA tournament each of his 4 years in Champaign-Urbana. Oh, yeah, it goes on, folks. So, again, Terrence Shannon Jr., I don't think so. How about Deion Thomas? 1991 to 1994, the former McDonald's All-American selection, is still the school's all-time leading scorer with 2,129 points and 4th leading all-time rebounder with 846 in his 4-year career. Let's put this into perspective, folks. If Io would like to break Thomas's record, all he'd have to do is come back for 2 more seasons and average 20 points a game in each of those seasons to do it. Thomas was named the team's MVP for 3 straight years, 92, 93, 94, and was Big Ten, all Big Ten selection in each of those years as well. And he owns the school's freshman record for senior single-season games for 29 years after scoring 34 against Wisconsin-Milwaukee in 1991 until somebody else named Georgie broke that record in 2019. So you see, Terrence Shannon Jr., I don't know. How about Deron Williams? Well, this guy was a truck. Man, was he good. 2003, 4, 5. Williams is a 2-time Olympic gold medal recipient and is the highest drafted player in Illini history After going number 3 overall in 2005 in the NBA draft in Utah, Williams was an All-American selection in 2005 and still holds a single-game record for NCAA tournaments with 31 in a second-round win over Cincinnati in 2004 in the NCAA tournament. Well, since we're going, how about D. Brown? D. Brown, a madman out there. Boy, this guy was good. 2003, 4, 5, and 6. Maybe the most famous player in the modern era to put on an Illini jersey. D. Brown, like Eddie Johnson, made it cool again for Chicago kids to pick Illinois after the Proviso East High School Stars Bill Self program in Champaign. And I'm going to say this because I went to a rival high school of Proviso East. I went to Oak Park and River Forest High School. So this is for you, Proviso East and Doc Rivers. Yes, same school that Doc Rivers went to. But anyway, folks, no, very, very talented players come out of there. D. Brown is one of the best to ever come out of there. And Brown was the Bob Cousy Award winner in 2006, given to the nation's best point guard, and the one-man fast break was a consensus first-team All-American selection in 2005, along with being Big Ten Conference Player of the Year and Big Ten Conference Defensive Player of the Year. And he is the winningest player in school history with 114 wins during his career and ranked 4th all-time at Illinois in scoring with 1,812. Why the hell is Terrence Shannon Jr.'s jersey up there, upside down or not, if you will, and D. Brown's isn't? Now, you have to ask yourself, D. Brown is certainly deserving. Deron Williams, certainly deserving. Deion Thomas, absolutely deserving. Kendall Gill should be in there no matter what. So should Eddie Johnson and Johnny Red Kerr. Why the hell is Terrence Shannon Jr. in there? I don't know. Then what does he do? Ends up going to where? The G League. That's right. And then finally making it up to the club where he's just a supporting cast member. And by the way, those other guys that I mentioned were all stars in the NBA. How do you like it? And not to take anything away from Terrence Shannon Jr., but the part that really drives me crazy in all of this is, yes, he only played a couple of seasons at Illinois, whereas the list that I just read to you, these guys all played a little bit longer. They sure accomplished seemingly a hell of a lot more, but also they went on to do great things in the National Basketball Association, unlike Terrence Shannon Jr., who is basically playing a small support cast on a decent team in the NBA. So I think about players being prepared. Now, look, Terrence Shannon Jr. played a couple of seasons or so, maybe 3 seasons, over at Texas Tech, and good for him. So he was good enough to start over in the Big 12, and that's great. But he comes to the Big 10, and he plays pretty well. But did he play better than the list of guys that I mentioned, including D. Brown and Eddie Johnson and Deron Williams? I don't believe he did. I don't believe that it was all about just what this guy had done the last couple of years. I think there was a lot more to that. And by the way, here's a little bit of trivia for you. The University of Illinois, their colors are orange and blue, the same colors as the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears got their colors from the University of Illinois. But here's an interesting fact. Oak Park and River Forest High School, their colors are orange and blue and were the actual influence for the University of Illinois to have their colors at orange and blue as well. And guess what? You can also say that it's Oak Park and River Forest High School that is responsible for the colors for the Chicago Bears. Yes! So both the University of Illinois and the Chicago Bears are both orange and blue, the same dark blue with the orange. That's right. Had to throw that in there because my high school, proud alum of Oak Park River Forest High School. Okay, how about this? How about the NBA? Since we did talk about the NBA, how about this one? How about the Mavericks assistant coach, Darryl Armstrong? Do you know anything about this guy? Oh, yeah. He's been a coach in Dallas since 2009. I don't know, 15, 16 years, whatever. Well, how about this one? This guy was what? Arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Oh, boy. This seems to be a very common theme amongst these alleged professionals in the NBA. So here we go. This was Ian Castleberry, we're going to give you a little bit of a kick on this one because this is you as the contributing writer. A bad couple of weeks for the Dallas Mavericks took a far darker turn in a matter of outside basketball. So, assistant coach Daryl Armstrong was arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Dallas TV station WFAA had reported he allegedly hit a woman with a gun and then threatened to shoot her during an argument, according to the Dallas Police Department. What kind of monster does that? This is ridiculous. Officers responded to a call at approximately 3:45 a.m. last Saturday and arrested Armstrong on the scene. He later posted bond for only $35,000. Come on. Well, how about a little privilege there, folks? That's right, you heard me say it. According to an arrest warrant affidavit, the victim told police that there had been previous multiple violent incidents with Armstrong that she didn't report because she did not want him to get in trouble or lose his job, reported Dallas-Fort Worth's Fox 4. Armstrong, who is 56 years of age, was placed on administrative suspension, and the Mavericks said in a statement to WFAA, quote, "The Dallas Mavericks are aware of an incident involving a member of our staff and are gathering all relevant information surrounding the incident, and we take this matter seriously. The employee has been placed on administrative suspension pending the outcome of legal proceedings, and this matter is currently under review by the appropriate legal authorities. Due to this fact, we will not allow the legal process to run its course, and we will, better yet, we will allow the legal process to run its course, and we will refrain from further comment while the proceedings are ongoing," close quote. So Armstrong joined the Mavs back in 2009. I wonder how long he's been doing this. He's been assistant coach for 10 years. Maybe he's just been out of shape. He's still an assistant coach for 10 years. But what the hell is he doing? I mean, look, folks, in case you missed what I said, that's right. He allegedly hit a woman with a gun and threatened to shoot her during an argument. What the hell is he doing that kind of stuff for? Nobody has the right to do that. I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what sport you play or whatever. The point is, nobody has that right. Nobody does. And for this guy to allegedly maybe believe that he is above the law, it's lunacy. And then, of course, for the woman, the alleged victim, to say that it has happened multiple times, essentially. She had said, according to an arrest warrant, the victim told police there had previously been multiple violent incidents with this guy, and that she didn't report it because she did not want him to get into trouble or lose his job. Again, that's Dallas-Fort Worth's Fox 4. So how many times has this happened? In what world is this okay? Maybe under the prior administration with all this, whatever, all this latitude given to certain persons of a certain background. I don't know. All I know is that is not going to happen in this administration. Donald J. Trump won't allow it. And guess what? He is our leader, and that is the way the cookie crumbles for all you blue teamers. That's going to do it for the circus today. I'm your ringmaster, Sal. We'll catch you in about 23 hours right here on your favorite station. Until then, so long, everyone.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus. Join me and Hall of Fame world champion and all-star celebrity guest for Chaos and Controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms. Also, thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.